Hi, and welcome to another edition of Bauer Business Bites. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And each week we catch up with someone from the business world and we get some insight and opinion and analysis on what they're up to. And this week it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Maeve Monaghan, who's the Chief Executive of the Now Group, to the programme. Maeve, you're very welcome to Business Bites.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's great to see you, and I've read lots about the Now Group prior to speaking with you today, but there may be many people out there who don't know what the Now Group is. So could you just give us a real brief explanation of the aims of the company and what it's all about?
Yeah, sure. Now Group is a registered charity, but we're also a social enterprise. We were born in Belfast, but we work across the island of Ireland. Now, most of our services being in the north of Ireland, and we support over 1,000 people with learning difficulties and autism a year into jobs with the future. And as part of that work, we operate a number of social enterprises, and that's one of the things we're really keen to talk about today. We have Loaf Catering, which has 6 cafes and a corporate catering business, certainly under a little bit of pressure at the moment. We have a pottery business that we sell in shop and online, and we have another enterprise called Jam Card that supports over 75,000 people with learning difficulties and autism to access goods and services. So we've got plenty going on, David. I would say, even in these times.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
I suppose just focusing in on the idea of social enterprise and charity. So for the uninitiated, what's the difference between that kind of social enterprise and charity? Because if I want to come and purchase something from you, am I purchasing from a charity or a social enterprise? And what's the difference?
Yeah. So, we are a registered charity, so all the core work we do with their participants still drives that added value. But we have a social enterprise element. We run a number of social enterprises under the Now Group umbrella. So I suppose lots of charities would trade. They would maybe do a lot of fundraising. Social enterprises tend to focus on the trade piece of that. So we would be seen, and we would want to be seen more in line with businesses. I suppose the difference between a business and a social enterprise would be more to do with what happens to the profits. So any money that's generated, any income or profit that's generated through Now Group is used to go back into the charitable aims of the charity. So there's no shareholders, there's the profit is retained within the community and delivers added value to all of our, over 1,000 participants.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up. And I suppose in a time where people are currently looking perhaps a little bit closer to home, it's forced a lot of people to think about the decisions that people are making on a day-to-day basis. Excuse me. How do you feel that a social enterprise like the Now Group fits into the new way of thinking?
Yeah, I suppose we've seen an absolute increase in a lot of our business. So, as an organisation that operates a very sizable catering business, so if you think of Loaf Catering pre-pandemic, would have been turning over about £1 million a year. So we would have had a significant amount of business there, and we run a number of sites, including one at Belfast City Hall. We have our own cafe. So we've been doing a lot of business with business as well as to direct to customers. So that business worked really well. That was operating really successfully, and then COVID hit. So we've had to look at flipping and pivoting that business. We have a lot of our food delivered to customers online now, like most of the catering and hospitality businesses that are still operating. But we also then looked at our pottery in Crawfordsburn. We produce beautifully handmade pieces of pottery, particularly loaf mugs. And we were selling a few of those in our cafes, but we had to pivot and do that online. But what's happened is we can tell that people really started to think about where their money was spent and how they can make a difference. And we have seen an over 300% increase in sales of our pottery right across the island of Ireland. And the feedback is that people want a really high quality handmade product, but they want to know that it's been made and the money is kept locally. And they like the fact that the profits also support people with learning difficulty and autism into jobs of the future. I kind of think it's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, well, it does. It sounds like it. It sounds like it from the way you've described it there. What do you think the benefits are of running a business as a social enterprise? So, if I had a pound to spend with the social enterprise or with a standard business, if you like, a profiting business, it might seem like a straightforward question, but yeah, is there a social impact for every pound that comes in?
Yeah, and we're very, very focused on impact. We report on that annually. And last year, for every £1 invested in Now Group and any of our social enterprises and any of our services, we're returning about £20 in social value. So that means that focus on money touching the sides as it flows through our economy, it just makes sense. And even that opportunity for us to be in other businesses' pipelines, help them create an added value as well, because we've really found an interest from lots of amazing businesses and companies in the private sector who want to collaborate with social enterprises as well. So there's an added awareness in the public, but there's also a keenness in the business economy as well. And we're just trying to make sure that we take as much opportunity out of that as possible.
That's great. That's great. So, if someone who's in business is watching this interview now and is not involved or hasn't found out about the Now Group, what kind of support do you look for from businesses to your enterprise?
Well, there's some very key ones, and I suppose we have a number of strategic partners that we work with where we would do a range of support for them, where they might do some fundraising for our charitable work, but more likely the conversation is around, how can we help support linking our participants who are looking for work into jobs that you're finding hard to fill. And that's just a really good win-win situation there. And we do that across catering and hospitality, around warehousing, retail. We're also looking at that in relation to the digital market as well. So, we have over 1,000 people who are searching for jobs, and we're helping businesses be more inclusive and fill roles that they need. Along with that, we talk about their supply chain. We have a catering business, certainly pre-COVID and post-COVID. We're keen to be the preferred corporate catering provider for big business, and probably about 70% of our business or delivery business is to the private sector and corporates in the greater Belfast and beyond. So we want to do more of that, but we also want to look at businesses becoming jam card friendly. So that's the other enterprise we have that helps businesses be recognised as welcoming customers with all different types of hidden disabilities. And, by doing that, they can engage with Now Group and they actually help make their business more accessible for more customers.
Well, again, you're doing a very good job here of selling absolutely every benefit, and it really does make sense. I mean, it completely makes
Yeah.
sense. It completely makes sense to me. What's the ambition for the Now Group for 2021? We've gone through a few bumpy bits on the road. How's things looking for this year?
Well, the getting six cafes or five cafes back open but safely, and customers feeling safe and our participants feeling safe is probably one of our biggest ambitions at the minute. And I suppose that's sitting quite close on the horizon. But just that I suppose that concern about that opening and closing issue around the cafes has been a big pressure for the team there, certainly. But I think getting all our team back, getting that operational again, and really boosting that business. We have a particular interest in our pottery business. It was a nice little sideline that we've pivoted into a really good business, and we want to do more of that. We want to sell lots more loaf pottery mugs to corporate businesses, to independent customers, selling those online right across Ireland and wider afield. We see a really big potential for scaling that business. We have some support from Invest NI to look at that as well, and that looks exciting. But fundamentally, it's getting our participants with learning difficulties and autism back into the engagement piece, looking at helping them, particularly when some of them start to have challenges coming out of furlough. There'll be issues coming down the line for all of our population in relation to jobs. And our focus will be in helping all of those individuals link in with job outcomes as they come.
Well, Maeve, we wish you the very best of luck in 2021. Your contact
Thank you,
details will come
David.
up at the end. I encourage everyone to buy pottery. I'm going to go off and do some now. So thank you and best of luck.
Great. Thank you, Dennis.